the reason we have you here is obviously your expertise on the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about it. Obviously, we're expecting big things out of the 49ers this year. Coming off of a down year, obviously. A lot of big moves have been made, so where do you expect to see the biggest improvements with the 49ers? It's supposed to say season, even though it says Sion.
No, you're fine. I think there are a couple things that I thought about when you threw this my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I've kind of gotten asked this question a few times over the offseason for a few different streams. And I think, there's the one answer, which is the obvious fun answer, but I'm not going to go there yet. We'll save that for a little bit. I just want to tease everybody. I'm going to say the offensive line, I think, is going to be the most improved position. To me, I don't think the 49ers are going to have the most elite of offensive lines in 2021, but with how bad that team was and that unit specifically was in 2020, they have to get better. And specifically, I think if you look at the way that the 49ers were in such bad situations last year where they had to constantly pass the ball when they didn't want to. Kyle Shanahan wants to run the ball at heart. And specifically, in 2019, right, the 49ers ran the ball 51% of the time. In 2020, they ran the ball 41%. They want to run the ball more. So I think
Ben, you're kind of cutting out a little bit with your mic. Maybe you scoot a little bit closer.
Yeah. Oh, my mic was a little unplugged there for a second.
There we go. Now? Yeah, you're clear now.
Sorry about that. So I think that offensive line is going to be much improved. To me, that was the worst unit last year. And like I said, I don't know if you caught me for that, but they were forced to pass the ball so much last year that you put so much pressure on that offensive line. And then there was a revolving door at all the different positions, basically besides the two tackles. So I think once they have some consistency along their offensive line, once Aaron Banks is the starter, and if we can get 16 games or 17, I guess now, out of Alex Mack, to me, that would be a huge improvement. And the other thing, too, is even if Alex Mack gets injured, 49ers have, I don't want to say one of the best, but for at least what they're trying to do, Daniel Brunskill is a perfect plug-and-play guy, right? So even if the 49ers do sustain an injury to that unit, I think they could still keep it very well. And then when I look across the board, the reason I say that I think this is going to be the biggest improvement is because I don't know how much better the 49ers got at other positions or other units. I think this is the one spot where they got better, but it was also because of the fact that they were so horrible in 2020 that you can really only go upwards, right? So I think this unit will be more cohesive. I think Banks, he's going to help in pass protection a ton. And I think Mike McGlinchey, I don't know if he's going to be what he was in 2019, but he should certainly be better than he was in 2020. So I think collectively that unit will be much better than they were last season.
Yeah, I have to agree I think that we're going to see a big improvement out of the offensive line just because, like you said, in 2019, they played really well. And that was because they had consistency throughout their line, right? Not as many injuries. They had the people that they expected to play actually play there. And McGlinchey looks like he's bigger now. He's going to have a fellow Notre Dame player there alongside with him, which hopefully will help him out. There you have a new captain to that offensive line, Alex Mack, which is going to be great. And mine's kind of an offshoot of that. I believe the biggest upgrade and the biggest improvement we're going to see is going to be the running game. Because not only do we have now an intact offensive line that hopefully can stay healthy and play together and play well with the new captain at Alex Mack, we also have a healthy George Kittle coming into the season who is great at run blocking and sealing that edge, which is where the running game really thrives. And last year, there was injuries to the running back core, but also the running backs that we had were just a little bit older. They didn't have the same pop. And now that whole running back core has been revamped with younger, more athletic people. And we have back that three-headed monster, which is what caused the 2019 season to have the number 2 ranked running game in the league. And so having that three-headed monster again with any combination of Mostert, Trey Sermon, and Gallman, I think is going to impact the running game and take that because last year they were ranked 15th. I believe they're going to be in the top 3 this year, because not only do they have the offensive line, they have George Kittle back and a stable of running backs. I'm assuming Trey Lance is going to start, and they're going to have a quarterback that can also be a part of that running game as well. And if you look at who has been the most dominant running team the last few seasons in the NFL, it's been the Baltimore Ravens. And it hasn't only come from their running backs. Obviously, a large part of that is having a mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson that could just reel off chunks at a time when the scheme just breaks down. And to have a guy like Trey Lance that has that mobility, that could go and pick up a first down if everything else breaks down, I think it's just going to enhance the running game as well. So I expect it's kind of like an offshoot of what you picked, but I expect that running game to go back to being one of the most elite in the league. And when that happens, that just makes everything else in Kyle Shanahan's offense run extremely smooth. So there's a lot to look forward to if both of our things come true this season.
Oh, yeah. And with the running back thing specifically, you said it was a 3-headed monster. If Jeff Wilson comes back and is healthy, it's like a 4-headed monster almost, right? The stable that Kyle has, I personally feel, I think this is the best stable of running backs he's had in his time with the 49ers. And in fact, it might be the best offensive line. I think the 49ers, they, like I said, specifically with that stat about them running the ball, right? With the RG3 offense, which people think the Trey Lance offense will look somewhat similar to, at least with the quarterback runs and all of that, they ran the ball the same percentage as the 49ers did in 2019, 51%. So it's that similar style where Kyle was already doing that in 2019 with the run game. But then, like you perfectly pointed out, there's that added aspect and that added threat of Trey Lance, which is just going to make life easier for everyone else involved.
Absolutely.